Hey guys, it's the Nerdy Movie Guy. So today I'm going to talk about Rain Man. Now, I picked up this copy not too long ago, and I've heard so much about it, and I finally gave it a chance. And this was a really, really good movie. There's a lot of touching moments, a lot of great topics brought up in discussion and in concepts and in story in this movie. So I want to mention some of the sort of side notes, in my opinion, of details about the movie I really liked. So Hans Zimmer actually does the music for this movie, and I couldn't. My research was a little. It was hard to find his very first work. He's been in so many projects. He's done the score for Man of Steel, The Dark Knight, just recently The Creator, and this is one's included. So I think one of his first movies, he was credited in '87 for I can't remember the name of the movie. It was something. It was Terminal something. But he was credited in '87, and this movie came out in '88. So as far as movies are concerned, this is one of his earliest works. Even though he's done other work before that movie in '87, I just can't remember the name of it for the life of me, which is really frustrating. So we get into this movie, and Dustin Hoffman, his performance is probably one of the most notable features about this film. So in this movie, it's just sort of the little details in his acting. It's his eye contact. It's his speech. It's the mannerisms. I think everything he sort of did on set sort of brought his character to life, and not only made him a lovable character, but you can kind of sort of connect with him on a lot of very different levels. And I think it's very impressive for an actor to be able to do that sort of thing with a character so complex like his character in this movie. And that was something really, really cool to see. And of course, Tom Cruise, he's great. And in his role in this movie, it was sort of strange for me because the movies I've seen Tom Cruise in, he's always just this extremely likable guy. And it's in this movie, at least for the first half, he's kind of a jerk. And it was just sort of, different to see Tom Cruise in that sort of a role, just because I haven't seen him in that sort of a role before. So that was pretty interesting to see in this movie. And the thing about this is this sort of just encompasses this whole brotherly journey between these two. And there's just so many details that's just sort of easy to miss if you're just casually watching the movie. So there's just little things that keep coming up later in the movie that you remember from earlier, and you find out more and more about their connection and how they connect in this movie, and it just sort of brings it to sort of this emotional ending for the movie. And I think that one of the coolest things is for Tom Cruise, his character's development. We sort of get to see sort of his character development throughout the movie goes from 0 to 100. And at first, in the beginning of the movie, he's sort of just only in it for the money, and that's it. And by the end of the movie, this will be one of those reviews I spoil just because it's, in my opinion, I think it's kind of hard to review this without mentioning the ending. So I apologize. If you guys saw in the beginning of this video, this will say warning spoilers just because I want to mention the ending in this video. So to talk about the ending, we realize he wants to fight for custody for his brother. And we realize in sort of the last 2 minutes, he doesn't get custody of his brother. And he's saying goodbye. And so that's sort of an emotional film in and of itself. But then one of the details I caught that I think sort of encompasses the whole journey from these two characters and encompasses the character development for Tom Cruise's character is, like I said in the beginning, he's only in it for the money. It's $3 million on the line that he wants and he needs for his company. And throughout the movie, we're learning more and more about how his company's falling through the cracks and it's failing, and he's just trying to get back home. And that's the whole road trip part of the movie, is they're trying to get home. But of course, his brother, he doesn't want to fly, so they have to take a road trip. And just, just sort of the little things his brother needs, just sort of prevents him from getting home in the quickest way possible. So to hear so much about his company, and he needs all this money, and he wants this $3 million. By the end of the movie, when he's saying goodbye to his brother, that's it. That's the end of the movie. So we don't get to see what happens with the money. We don't know anything about what happens with his company. We don't know about the investments. We don't know if he loses everything. because I think it sort of encompasses his character development because he just doesn't care about any of that. So I feel like it sort of relates to the viewers because as viewers, of course, as viewers, we don't care about any of that. And it just takes someone paying attention to detail to notice this, in my opinion, because at the end of the movie, he doesn't care about the money anymore and he doesn't care what happens. And as viewers, you don't care about the money anymore. We don't care what happens. We just want to see what happens to his brother. And I think the way they bring it to a close just it's sort of a gut punch when you realize that aspect of the movie is just this big, the meaning for the beginning of the plot becomes meaningless in the end because he doesn't care about any of that. So I think that was a really cool part of whoever was in charge of writing that part of the story. I think that's one of the most impressive parts in this movie because it sort of brings the whole thing together and it just sort of makes you realize that it's not exactly a happy ending. I mean, his brother's okay. He's going to be taken care of. And, you know, he's going to take care of his brother too. But he doesn't get to live with his brother like he intended. And now he's not going to have the money. And just for him, you sort of don't see his happy ending. But, you know, it's just one of those things that I think when movies don't have a happy ending exactly, not perfectly, I think it gives a realism and a relatability aspect to the movie. And that's why I think it was easy to connect with those characters because you have sort of these key moments in life like it was for him where just not everything goes the way you expect it to be. And I think it's sort of this, you know, realistic aspect that we can take and recognize in our lives. And that's what I think was so cool about this movie is, I mean, there's so much more I can talk about from beginning to end. I just sort of wanted to encompass what I thought was its strong suits. I mean, the comedy is great, the acting is great, the story is amazing, and between these two characters, I think there's a reason why this movie has stood the test of time. And for an 80s movie, there's a reason why there's a 4K copy, and there's a reason why I've seen plenty of 4K copies available, because this is clearly one people want to own and they want to have for themselves in their physical collection. So I found this one at Best Buy. I believe it was roughly around the $19.99 price point. So if you're looking to get a copy for yourself, I'm sure you can get a more affordable copy of this movie in Blu-ray. But if you want it in 4K, I would recommend getting this one just so you have everything the movie has to offer on, you know, displayed on your TV. No matter what kind you have. So I think this will be a really great movie for generations to sort of experience this all over again. I think people who saw this movie originally, I think this movie holds a lot of rewatchability to it. And I think the more people that see it have more to share and to offer and give an opinion and comment on to either their children or their friends or their coworkers. So this is a movie, I think, that has a worthy story worth spreading, and that's one of the cooler parts about this is the message itself sort of takes you out of feeling that it's a Hollywood movie. It feels like it's a real story worth telling, and that's one of the best parts about this. So props to everyone involved. I think the directing was great, the acting was great, the comedy was great. Of course, for Hans Zimmer writing the score, I think the music was great in this movie too. Sort of gives a different vibe than standard 80s movies you watch. And if you ever see this, you'll understand what I mean by that, because it just gives, the music's just so different. It just gives it a whole different tone versus some of maybe Tom Cruise's other work like Top Gun. So anyway, I think this is a great watch. I definitely recommend it. I think everything about it was just 10 out of 10. Like I said, if you haven't watched it, I definitely recommend it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait to review the next movie I see. Don't know which one that will be, but I definitely want to check out another Tom Cruise movie, because this one was 10 out of 10 for me. Got Vanilla Sky, got The Firm. May check one of those out. I got Christopher Nolan's movies to see. So I love watching movies, but I love when a movie has a real story to tell. This is one of them. If you're interested in even in the slightest in this movie, I would say just pull the trigger. Just check it out now, because you're going to enjoy it. Thank you guys for watching.